What up, world? I'm Don West Jr., and I am the founder of Knock Out the Stigma, and I'm the creator of both the Wellbeing Toolbox and the Wellbeing Exchange. And I'm just dropping in today to say what's up, let you know that we are not alone, and to give you a lead in to today's well-being lesson number 6. And lesson number 6 is with a special guest. It's my man, Big Daddy. Big Daddy's in the house. Richard Big Daddy Salgado. Practice what you preach. We're talking relationships, we're talking branding, and we're talking building networks. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up. Richard Big Daddy Salgado. He's got his new show, Big Daddy and Friends. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So, one of the really cool things that I wanted to highlight and point out is the timing of this whole thing, this sit down with Big Daddy. I called Big Daddy. Today is Friday, November 4th. I called Big Daddy on Wednesday afternoon. He said he would do the interview. He sent me a time. He said he could do it at 8:30 Eastern on Thursday evening, 8:30 Eastern. So one day, I called him on Wednesday. He said he could do it at 8:30 Eastern on Thursday. He was there. He was on time. He had me prepared. I had him prepared, and you're going to see what happens. So let me just give you a quick rundown of the things that are coming up in the next little bit. Today at 11 o'clock Pacific time, Team X Peer Support Group for Peer Workers. Today, Team X Peer Support Group for Peer Workers. It's facilitated by myself, yours truly, Don West Jr., Certified Peer Specialist, and my coaching partner, Marilyn Young, Coach MJ. She's amazing. If you're a peer that works with peers, check it out. www.wellbeingex.org. www.wellbeingex.org. On the left side, it's events. It's right there. That's what I'm reading to you right off of the page. Next, we have on Sunday, December 6th, Wellbeing and Mindfulness Weekly Jumpstart with Coach Don. Again, that's me, Coach Don. Wellbeing and Mindfulness Weekly Jumpstart with Coach Don, December 6th. That's from 7 to 8:30. That happens every Sunday. Every Sunday we have a weekly jumpstart. So if you want to get some of it, get with us on Sunday. We have a wonderful, wonderful group. It's a growing group. It's a dynamic group. Love you guys. Tuesday, December 8th, 6 o'clock to 7:30. Tuesday, December 8th, 6 o'clock to 7:30. I Am Woman, an online peer support group with Coach Tracy Williams. It's about finding your voice. It's about empowerment. I Am Woman, online peer support group with Coach Tracy Williams. That's December 8th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. And then the last thing that's going to come up on there, that's on the events, the next 4 events, is Coach MJ and Don West Jr.'s monthly men's infidelity group. It's an infidelity and relationship group. It's for cis men. It focuses on the point of view of the betraying partner. So, hey, if you're a cheater and you want to do some work and change your behavior, work on your relationship, 12/16, December 16th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Coach MJ and myself. It's amazing. So, let's get to it. We're gonna let you guys get this invitation for peers, and then let's take a look at well-being lesson number 6. Practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. Special thanks to Richard Big Daddy Salgado. Special shout out to my peoples, Susanna De La Rosa, Mike Newsom. We were a crew. We used to roll together. Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, all around, all-star game, all around the country, all around the world. Love you guys. Here we go. Let's take a look. What is it? Practice what you preach with Big Daddy. I'm Don West Jr. Namaste.
Hello, world. My name is Don West Jr., and I am the founder of Knock Out the Stigma, and also the creator of the Wellbeing Exchange. And we have a cool website for that. It's just launched www.wellbeingex.org. Wellbeingex.org. So the Wellbeing Exchange was a place created specifically to allow people that are in need of services in their journey of recovery and their quest for well-being, and people who have services to offer. So I myself am a certified peer specialist. I received my first certification from the Depression Bipolar Support Alliance, DBSI, DBSA. And then I received my second certification through Project Return and their certification program. And that was a very cool program because that actually had an internship component, and I got to intern over near Koreatown in Los Angeles at a place called PATH, People Assisting the Homeless. So that was a very cool experience. But the Wellbeing Exchange was for people like myself who have certified peer specialist credentials, and others who are actual practitioners, family therapists, blah, 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 social workers. It's for those people to connect with people who are looking for coaches, clinicians, and peer support specialists to help them along in their journey. So if you happen to have some skills, and there's other modalities, Reiki, all these other things, massage therapy, physical fitness is also something that contributes to well-being. So if you have skills and you're interested in being a coach or a specialist, or if you have a program or a service or a book to offer that touches the areas of well-being, if you check out the 8 dimensions of well-being in the article that is on the Wellbeing Exchange at www.wellbeingex.org, you can see if you have something that might touch the well-being rail. And if you do, I invite you to more well-being. Please join us on the Wellbeing Exchange. One more time, www.wellbeingex.org. So my thought for you today is together we can build an amazing and dynamic community, and we can exchange thoughts and programs. And it's kind of like the idea is that at 2 a.m. in your underwear, you can jump onto the Wellbeing Exchange and you can access tools, teachers, and programs to increase your well-being. So personal invitation from me, Don West Jr., the founder, asking you, spread the word, like this video, share the concept, pass along the Wellbeing Exchange and the website. Hopefully we'll see you there at the Wellbeing Exchange really soon. I'm Don West Jr., and as always, namaste.
Man, I had to do an interview that was supposed to be done this morning, got pushed back to tonight. So I just finished doing that. And now that I do this, I'm going to bed, man, because I get up at 5:45. I go to the gym, man, and I rock it out there for about an hour and a half every morning.
Every morning.
I take Sundays off. Luckily, on Saturday, the gym doesn't open till 8, so I get the extra hour of sleep. But yeah, I start feeling it like around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed, man. I'm feeling 55 by 10 o'clock.
Well, I'm 46, so I am like I said before we started recording. I said I was following you every step and making every move you make, and I guess I am in a lot of different ways because I'm such a youngster compared to a seasoned 55-year-old vet. So let me set this thing up real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Whew. Thank you, brother. Let me just say thank you.
No, of course, man. Look, I don't forget where I came from, and we do know each other a long time, so it's no big deal, man. I get asked by a lot of people, and I turn a lot of people down, but I'm not going to turn you down. So
that's what's up, Big Daddy Richard Salgado. Did I say that right, brother? Because I be chopping people's names up. That's almost my thing.
You said you said it 100% right.
So Richard Salgado, this is my dog, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, world. I am Don West Jr., and I am the founder of Knock Out the Stigma. I am the creator of the Wellbeing Exchange and also the creator of the Wellbeing Toolbox. And it is my extreme pleasure, long-lasting friendship honor to introduce my audience and my feed and my legacy in this particular medium to the one and only Richard Big Daddy Salgado. Richard Salgado, what's up, my man?
Don, you know what? I couldn't have said it any better myself. So I'll tell you, everyone out there listening, yes, I did pay him good money to make sure he said my name correctly and gave me all the props that you're going to hear or have heard already. So, but anyway, everything is great, and I'm honored to be on with you. And let's chat it up, man. Let's yuck it up like old times.
For shizzle. So to set it up, I always ask this question, so it's always puzzling and interesting to me to hear the answer. So my first question is, can you tell everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening, to the best of your recollection, tell everybody how we met, tell them how you know me, how did we come to know each other so that you would do this? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, listen, we go back with a lot of people, like you mentioned before, Susanna De La Rosa, Mike Newsom. Mike Newsom lived with me for 8 years. Through.
I never knew that. See,
you didn't know that? Yeah,
True.
Mike was. Do you remember Billy Hampton?
I remember the name. It's not pulling it, but I've done a lot of things since a long time.
Yeah, Billy Hampton was a mutual friend of ours, and Billy said, "Hey, man, I need you to do me a favor. One of my guys is looking for a place to live. Do you think you could hook him up and let him stay with you until he finds a new place?" And I was like, "Billy, absolutely, for sure." And Mike came and he stayed 7 years. So we developed a brotherhood, a friendship. I mean, to this day, I'm godfather to his son. And, I love Mike like a brother. That's the kind of relationship that we have. So it all stems back to all those days. And, and then me being all over the place in California, New York, Florida, Texas. I mean, I started my insurance business, I believe it was 1995 or 6. And I was telling somebody earlier that in an interview, I'm a in-your-face kind of person where instead of picking up a phone and calling somebody, and I don't believe in that at all. I'm not afraid to do it, but I think that when you have relationships with certain people, those relationships should want to help you get to other relationships. And that's the one thing that I stress to people all the time, that if I give you a name or a number to call, don't call me to call you. If I give you the person's name and info, call them direct. Don't that when you wait, you're wasting time when you have to call me to call somebody else. If they know that you got the number from me, that means that I trust you enough to give your number.
It's a direct referral from Big Daddy.
That's right. So I have to be careful with certain people, who I do that with because of the level of, person that they are. But for the most part, if I don't get on a call to, let's say, you ask me, I call so-and-so and, hey, listen, take his call because there's something there and I think you should listen. I have no problem doing that, but a lot of times, sometimes you can or you have to, and then other times you don't.
So that's a really important point, and I just want to bang on it a little bit, like bing, bing, pay attention, listen to this point. Mm-hmm. Relationships and building relationships. So it's been at least 20 years since the first time me and Big Daddy crossed paths and we met each other out there in all these places that he says he's been. I think we met in Hawaii the first time at a Pro Bowl. I don't remember exactly, but I know that it was over 20 years ago because it was at a time when I was doing certain things, when I was hanging with a certain group of people, like he just mentioned, Susanna De La Rosa, Mike Newsom. And those relationships and those bonds are 2 decades old. You know, I graduated from law school 20 years ago, Big Daddy, right? And so we had our reunion. And so I'm sitting on, it's a Zoom reunion because of this time of year we're in, it's 2020. And the bonds and the relationships are there, right? The connectivity that you're talking about, and the respect and the responsiveness, as you say, that Big Daddy sent me, they're going to take care of you because they know Big Daddy, and you're getting a quality referral, and all of that is just so important. And it's about the path that we live, because ultimately that's what's going to be our legacy. That's one of my things, is legacy. So that's ultimately going to be our legacy. So I just wanted to recircle around and touch on that again.
Yeah. You know what? And a lot of people don't get this, but I try to explain it. You know, Mike Newsom and I go back a long way. And Mike used to be a ball boy for the Jets. And Billy Hampton, who I know since high school, was one of his bosses. And Billy went on to the NFL, the league office, then went on to be a vice president of the Cleveland Browns. And unfortunately, Billy passed away a couple of years. But, you know, the same guys that you see at the bottom, most of the time are going to go to the top. So that's why you need to treat people, regardless of where they're at, who they are. You know what? No one's better than anybody. Treat everybody the same way, and people will remember you. You know what? Yeah, people remember me because of my size and all that. I stand out. But the reason I have the relationships that I have all over the place, I think, is because I do what I say I'm going to do. I don't overpromise. I don't overcommit. And when I don't have an answer, I'll find you the answer, or I'll find that person that has the answer or can give you a better answer than I have. So I think those are very important traits in relationship building and building a network.
And that's part of what, you know, branding, that's where we're going to pivot to, but we're going to stay on this line of relationships and building a network, right? Because ultimately each person in and of themselves, no matter what they do, if they're a plumber, if they're a ballerina, if they're a professor of microphysics of biology that we don't understand, whatever they are, they're a brand, right? They're a brand. So you're a big brand, and you said it's your size that you're a big man, but is that, tell us, what's the origin of the Big Daddy brand, that nickname? What is that all about? How does that even come about?
Well, that started in 1986 at the University of Maryland. A former teammate of mine gave me that nickname, and it stuck. And the thing that was funny was, after I got out of college, I got involved with a clothing company. It was called Big Daddy Gear, of all names. So I was part of that whole thing for about a 5-6 year run.
So that was pure coincidence.
Pure coincidence.
Because when I met you, it was at a time when you were involved with Big Daddy Gear, and I thought it was absolutely godsend that this was this thing that was whatever. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I thought it was going to be an end all, but you know, unfortunately, we came out at the same time that Fubu and Sean John were coming out, and we just didn't have the capital to keep up on that level with companies like that. So where they were in 40 places, we were like in 5. But we held our own because obviously, having my marketplace with the athletes, I was going to guys that, you know, I had Randy Moss, I had Michael Strahan, I even had Shaq O'Neal wearing it. I mean, it was everywhere. And, but, you know, we had some in-group fighting, I guess. And, you know, one guy wanted to go one way and another guy wanted to go another way. And finally, that was the end of it. And I found myself, okay, now I got to do something else. I had my insurance business that I was doing the whole time. So, when you talk about branding, insurance is about as dry as watching, is about as boring as watching paint dry, and that's where branding really comes into play, because you have to stress to people that my role in the world of sports and the world of business is an important role. I'm there for them. I'm there to help them. And, insurance people have a stigma that, they're all cheese bowl, low class, salespeople that just want to make a sale and get to the next sale and don't care about anything. Well, I've never taken that approach, and I've never been a hard sell guy. And there's been guys that I've had to wait 5 or 6 years to do business with, because you have to prove yourself to them that, one, you know what you're doing, two, that you're a reliable person, and three, that regardless of whatever happens, you are there for them 100%. And that's where the relationship part is, why that is so important. Because in my business, if I sell Don a policy and Don thinks it's better than sliced bread and it's going to help him, well, then I can go to Don and say, hey, Don, introduce me to 10 other people that you think I could help. And that way, Don feels comfortable at least telling me, here's 5 people that you should call. And when they call me, I will recommend you. Do you get what I mean about the whole? It's like a full circle.
100%. And then that's back to the very first point about relationships, about and tying in the branding and the consistency. And then you basically, what I'm hearing you say is, my anchor, my 9 to 5 was my insurance business.
Yeah.
And I tried this other thing on the side, and that other thing gave me some platform. And you said names. You said Randy Moss, Shaq, right? You were able to touch and engage other brands because of the risk that you took. So no risk, no reward. And it didn't work out. But then it also because when I met you, that was all in play. So when I met you, you were the insurance guy that had this clothing brand that I was mistakenly thinking was purely named after you because you're Big Daddy, yeah. Right? And so I just put that because we met. I believe we met at like the Ilhalani in Hawaii during the Pro Bowl. I think we met at the pool. I don't remember. We were having lunch. I don't remember. But anyway, I know we had lunch way early on at the Pro Bowl in Ilhalani, and that was all going on. And so I attributed that to you. And then you talk about insurance. And so like my father is a big, I'm Don West Jr. So obviously there's the senior, right? So yeah, my dad is a big reader. He reads all kinds of stuff. And his current thing right now is insurance, right? He's recognized what that means in terms of wealth generation, in terms of generational transformation, and what kind of role it can play.
Yeah.
And so I've been out of law school for 20 years. And so I've been to things like the Heckerling Institute. I was a fellow for the American Bar Association. I've been exposed to a lot of continuing education, a lot of seminars, a lot of different things. And so there was one from Northwestern Mutual that I thought was outstanding. And I can't remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head, but the way that he demonstrated insurance as a tool to build wealth, multi-generational wealth, and that he had been with the company for 20 or 25 years, and that in him using the insurance vehicles that he was a fan of as an investment vehicle from his beginning of his career to that time, he gave an anecdote of how much wealth he had built. And I don't want to misrepresent, and I don't remember the numbers, so I won't say them, but it was very impressive that I remember the story to tell you. So, the insurance thing is very interesting to me, and I applaud you for doing all the things that you said. You make it sexy by just being yourself, and yourself is sexy, and you do the thing that other people have other kinds of stigmas and opinions about in your own way.
Well, you have to always recreate the wheel. And what I did in 1998, I didn't do in 2004. What I didn't do in 2004, I didn't do in so you're always reinventing or recreating. And then the thing that really added to my whole rebranding or branding was doing television. I was fortunate enough to have one of the biggest personalities currently in TV, and Michael Strahan, and watching his growth. I never thought for 1 minute that I would ever be in front of 15, 20 million people on Fox News. And here I was helping to build a show on Fox Business News. Then I started becoming a guest. Then I got flipped over to the other side over Fox News and Fox and Friends, and they made me a Super Bowl correspondent. And I've been doing that since 2008. And it's a treat. And, I've become very, it's not a political thing for me like everybody else makes it out between, CNN and Fox News and all that. I really don't care about any of that. Look, at the end of the day, they want me there for information, to give information. And that's what I do. I provide information. I provide access. I bring guests on that most of the time they wouldn't be able to have on. And I share my experiences live from the Super Bowl with guests who are out about the night before or the day of or whatever. I've gone to games on the road to shoot a travel segment with the New York Giants. I've done that. And then now all of a sudden I have the show Big Daddy and Friends that just started. And those are things that I'm blessed and fortunate to have happen because of relationships. You meet people and there you go. You're sharing it right there. My first show I did with a very close friend of mine, Marvin Washington, who played for the Jets and the Broncos. And he came on. And so far, I've already done 5 of them in the last week. And I'll have a whole list of, the names are impressive and it's a who's who. And it's storytelling, it's fun, it's laughing. It's, I'm not talking highlights, we're not talking scores. We do discuss, events like the Super Bowls that I've been to. I've been to Stanley Cup finals. I've been, to Alaska with the Stanley Cup. I've been everywhere. And
you had the Stanley Cup sometime, and whenever I saw you somewhere, you had the Stanley Cup, or you're an interesting cat, dude.
I've drank out of it. I've slept next to it. I've had it on a seaplane. Like I said, I've been to Alaska with it twice due to a client that lived in Alaska, and I'm fortunate. And you know what? The one thing, not to be moral or anything, or morbid, if life ended tomorrow for me, I could leave the planet happy because, I'm going home. That's one. 2, I've done things that most people on this planet, even with all the money in the world, have never been able to do. So I'm grateful for that and very, very appreciative of that.
Well, that's really cool because that's about amplifying your voice and building your platform, right? And so, like, one of the things, I don't know if you've had a chance to check out what I'm doing, but, Knock Out the Stigma is my foundation. Okay, Big Daddy. And Knock Out the Stigma is about knocking out all stigmas around race, stigmas around mental health, stigmas around sexuality, stigmas around gender, any kind of stigmas in our society that are holding people back from being their best selves. That's what Knock Out the Stigma's like overarching purpose is. And our new program is the Wellbeing Exchange. And the Wellbeing Exchange is just that. It's an online exchange where people can come and so there's 8 dimensions of well-being. Mm-hmm. And I'll let everybody share and learn about the 8 dimensions of well-being. And then in that 8 dimensions, one of them that I personally added, because there's a very popular 7 dimensions of wellness or 7 dimensions of well-being out there on the internet. If you Google it, hundreds of articles will come up. The eighth dimension is the financial dimension, Big Daddy, right? It's the financial dimension, because I've met all these people that are, you know, wonderful gurus and have all these dimensions in order, but their financial dimension isn't in order. They definitely have never talked to Big Daddy about insurance, and that part is just missing from their toolbox and their IQ. And that's why it's important for you to come in and share your expertise and how you see that. And so if in your view, how do you see insurance playing into well-being and playing into someone's overall happiness and mental health portfolio and well-being? How does insurance play into that?
Well, you know, you were talking about it a little bit earlier. You know, insurance is a different animal, and what I mean by that is, you know, you have insurance, as we say in my profession, for need, and you have insurance for greed. Okay, so remember, need, and you have for greed. Okay, so the need is, I'm a 20-year-old guy that just had a baby. I have to have insurance. God forbid something happens to me and my child doesn't have a father. My wife or the mother of my child needs to have something, God forbid I'm gone, so that they can move forward, you know, first bury me and then, you know, have a life and be able to support a child. And if we have a house and I just got the mortgage, make sure that the mortgage is taken care of. All right, so that's insurance for need. Insurance for greed is where you take insurance and you use it as a wealth building vehicle, where you take advantage of tax breaks when you buy insurance, and you use it as an investment. Without getting too technical and getting into formulas and all that, insurance is one of the best ways to grow capital, because it has a tax favored savings to it. And this, to give the formula, would take us 2 hours to get really into it, the nitty gritty, and I don't want to confuse anybody or whatnot. But like I said, you have insurance for need, you have insurance for greed. Both can make you happy. One lets you go to bed at night knowing that you're protected. The other one lets you diversify your portfolio or your money and allows you to earn some more money without being taxed heavily or being tax deferred.
So you're like such a wonderful personality. So congratulations, Big Daddy. You deserve it. I'm so proud of you. Episode 1, Big Daddy, NFL insider and influencer. Episode 1, he visits with his longtime friend Marvin Washington. Who else did you do in your first week? Tell us who else you did in your first week.
I did. I just did Trip Tracy. He's the color analyst for the Carolina Hurricanes. I did Kevin Weeks, who's the lead analyst for NHL Network. I did Barry Trotz, the head coach of the New York Islanders. And I did Brian Baldinger from NFL Network and Fox Sports. So those are the first ones I've done. I've got Daryl Johnson coming up. Oh, I also did Kelly Masters, who's the first female NFL agent. She was actually the number 2 guest on my show. So I've got about another 30 people online getting ready to go. And it's all, different backgrounds, different sports, different names, and people that, names that people want to hear about, meet, and learn about.
So, bro, did you just say Moose?
Yeah, Moose, next week.
Next week you got Moose. That's a teaser, ladies and gentlemen. Big Daddy has Moose. There's a serious Dallas Cowboys nation out there, and they love the Moose.
Yeah, the Moose is. I know Daryl since he played at Syracuse. So we go back, way back, and it's kind of funny. We still, we talk, or good friends, and when you ask people to do a show like this, it's funny because I get all yeses, and you know what? And it feels good to get a yes. And then also it feels good to look. I didn't go to college to major in communications, and I never thought I'd be doing anything along these lines. But now, like, it's here I am. Wow, man. I'm like, this is national stuff. I have a website, the Sports Nut, which is sports and then naut.com. They just did a whole profile on me. They're putting the show out. We're on YouTube starting I think tomorrow. The next one is actually coming out, which I believe is Coach Trotz. And we had a great conversation. And we the show is based on laughing and storytelling, and we have a segment in there where we talk about food, you know, because a lot of my clients and friends, I've been out to eat with them, you know, as far as Hawaii and Alaska. Excuse me. So it's bringing something totally different to the table. And, you know, I'm going to get into the entertainment side of things because I have access there as well. And who knows where this goes, you know. I take it one day at a time.
So tease your second guest for me, Kelly, the first female NFL agent. Tease that for me. That's interesting. I want people to hear about that. Tease that.
Oh, well, Kelly, here's the funny thing about Kelly, and we were laughing about this. Kelly was Miss Oklahoma. So when you talk about, you look her up, and all you students out there, whoever's watching or listening to this, look up Kelly Masters with an I. She spells it Kelli, Masters. And she was Miss Oklahoma. She grew up around the OU football. You know, everybody in Oklahoma either likes Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. And she's an OU girl. And you know what? We talk about two things. What are the two hardest things that she ever did? And here's one of them that will make you laugh. Standing in front of the whole world in a bikini for the Miss America pageant and winning 2 awards, okay, on top of that. And then being a woman, you know, at the agents meetings and taking the agent exam and passing it. And then, you know, like one of the male agents told her, what are you doing here? This is not really, you shouldn't be here. This is not for women. Well, you know what? She didn't pay attention to that. And she went on, and she's very good at what she does. She's a lawyer as well. She's a professor at OU, teaches class. And she just came out with her first book. So I gave her, you know, kudos to her. I know her from when she started in the beginning. And it's a dream come true story, but it's also one that you have faith and you believe and you work towards a goal, and that's what she did.
So Kelly is dope. That whole story is dope. Big ups. Tell her when you speak to her, tell her Don West Jr. said dope, 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 proud. Didn't know she was at OU. Can't wait to check out her book. Tell her I would love to hear her voice on my feed. That would be dope.
I will make the introduction. No problem.
I want you to tell everybody, just because this is a very important, this is about legacy. This is about building your building blocks. You're putting it together, right? So Big Daddy, when did I ask you to do this interview, Big Daddy?
Yesterday.
Say that one more time, Big Daddy.
Yesterday.
And we did our little correspondence and back and forth. And we did it when?
Last night.
So we did it last night, which is we did it the very next day. So I asked him.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you know what I mean. We ramped it up for today.
And so I want everybody to understand that Big Daddy is about that business. He's about that business, right? He's not about the BS. He said he was going to do it. He popped in right when he said he was going to do it. That's who Big Daddy is. I've known the guy for 2 decades, and he said it feels good. Man, Big Daddy, man, did it feel good when you said you would do it? And to be doing it with you right now, does it feel good? Big Daddy, you're filling me with energy. You're wind in my sails, Big Daddy. Thank you, Big Daddy.
Anytime. And look, if I could ever be a help to anyone out there, you could see me all over. I'm all over social media. You know, I'm Twitter. I'm at Coastal Advisors. That's always the best place to see what I got going on. I'm on Instagram at, you know, Big Daddy Insures. BIG_daddy_insures. And now at sportsnut.naut.com.
That is so very, very cool, Big Daddy. Now, the other thing that's so cool is we talk about Kelly. I have another person in my journey that I just want to highlight that's really cool. I'm going to tell you this story.
Mhm.
So I'm working for Lee Steinberg, right? That's a big part of how that's how I know you, because I was in the Lee Steinberg world. I get to see all these things, right? It's rare air. That's what I get to do.
You remember my college roommate was his client, Neil O'Donnell.
Yes. Quarterbacks galore, like quarterbacks galore. It's a treasure trove of quarterbacks.
Yep.
So the cool thing is, I'm in the office and a delivery comes one day, and it's a bunch of bagels and all this stuff. This is before COVID. This wasn't last week. This was a long time ago. This was a long time ago, right? So all this cool stuff comes, right? And it has a card. And like, who sent us all this cool stuff? And it was a young lady from the University of Miami, right? This was not planned. This was not a setup. It just is going down this way, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it was a young lady from the University of Miami named Kira Lupus. And she wanted to intern with us. And she sent the whole basket with the whole thing, and she even had a custom Dr. Pepper in there, because Lee likes Dr. Pepper. She knows Lee likes Dr. Pepper, and she wanted to be an intern, and she had her agent's license, and she's a female agent, right? So she's in the mold of Kelly, but she sent us food, y'all. So if you guys ever want a job, I'm just giving you a tip, and you want to be creative and get your recognition, because I had to call her to say thank you. First of all, that's just proper protocol.
Yeah.
I just had to call her and say thank you, and then I interacted with her, and she ultimately ended up being an intern in our office and coming from Miami to Newport Beach, California, and working with us for part of the summer.
Yeah. Well, people have to take sometimes people are afraid to take a step forward, and life is, I'm in the risk management business, so life is about taking risks sometimes, and I'm not saying jump off a bridge and hope that you live, but you have to take risks, and you have to take opportunities when they arise, and you have to evaluate each opportunity to make sure it's worth your while, both personally and financially. So,
well, Big Daddy, I know you got to get up early. Dude, I love you so much. Thank you so much. I want to extend a special invitation to you, and this is where my shameless plugs come in. So it's going to be a series of shameless plugs.
Okay, sure.
Right? So my mother, the lady that created me, right? She used to be a big time singer in a group called Gentle Persuasion. People don't even know, but there's YouTube. You can go on Gentle Persuasion. That's not my mother singing. That's the lady that replaced my mother, because she left the group so she could come home and raise me. But anyway, right? She has a thing called Best Education Possible. It's a website, besteducationpossible.com.
Okay.
And so one day, Big Daddy, I extend the invitation for you to come and do a full course with the whole explanation of need and greed, and put it in there in besteducationpossible.com, and let people at 2 a.m. in their underwear learn about insurance and need and greed. Personal invitation from me, Big Daddy.
Okay. You got it. Thank you for having me. Continued success, my friend, and stay in touch. And to everyone out there, and you yourself, everyone, happy holidays and be safe.
Big Daddy. So this is Richard, Big Daddy Salgado. We're going to put all his contact up. Thank you, Big Daddy. I'm Don West Jr. Knock out those stigmas. Have a super, super holidays. Fabulous time. Thank you, Big Daddy. Thank you. Namaste.
All right, you got it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
You rock, brother. Thank you.
Be well.
All right, what's up, guys? www.patreon.com/
K.O.T.S. That's what's up. www.patreon.com/K.O.T.S. www.patreon.com/K.O.T.S. People are like, what is Patreon? You know, you can hear them, hey, they have Patron over there? No, it's not Patron. Patreon. They have the Patron? No, it's not Patron. No, it's not Patron. Patreon. Do they have a patron? Is that what you're saying? They got a patron? No. Patreon. A patron bringing Patron? No, Patreon. Patreon allows creators to build a more sustainable income source. That's what Patreon is. Fans get access to community exclusive content and the pride of fueling work they love. Subscribe, get exclusive content from K.O.T.S. and Don West Jr., support creators here at K.O.T.S. and support Don West Jr. Keep us in creative control. Keep us in creative control. Keep us in creative control. Direct connections. Oh, hold on. They're sending me a note. Mom says, stop making fun of me. I didn't know what Patreon was. Well, now you know. So, one more time. Let's put it back up for you. One more time. Look at that cool thing. Welcome to Patreon, everybody. Everybody. Hey. Party over here. Party over there. Party over here. Party over there. Patreon.com/K.O.T.S. Show us some love. Pretty please. Because we need the love. We need the love. All right. Enough of the Patreon plug. Exclusive content, special director's cuts, exclusive content, exclusive access behind the paywall for Patreon members at the Wellbeing Exchange. I'm Don West Jr., and as always, namaste.
The Wellbeing Exchange. It's a place to connect and empower your own well-being with peer support, tools, and practitioners. You are not alone. Knock Out the Stigma Incorporated, KOTS, is a 501c3 California not-for-profit public benefit corporation committed to engaging, educating, and empowering individuals in their personal recovery journeys and increasing mental health awareness through our growing community of peer support specialists, therapists, and other well-being practitioners and recovery trainers, coaches, and mentors. Always remember, you are not alone.